I'm Cathy Neptune, and welcome to my kitchen. I'm going to share with you tips, tools, and recipes to make your time in the kitchen fun, fast, and fabulous. And we're going to share tonight some really good ideas in the latest apps. And by apps, I mean appetizers. And there's something here for everybody. We have a great variety. Don't feel as though you have to make all of these. I would pick and choose what you'd like to serve your guests or your company, depending on some of the main ingredients. We have several here, for instance, with blue cheese. We have different veggie appetizers. So pick maybe a cold appetizer, and a hot cooked appetizer is usually a great way to go. And also consider what you're drinking and serving your guests, what they like as well. And tonight I'd like to introduce because we're doing appetizers, it's a party. So we have my kitchen buddy, Karen. You remember Karen? Hi, Karen. Hi. And then my sweetie, Harry. Harry's here. And you're each going to have some jobs. You're going to help out. And any questions you have that you think of, you speak right up and ask me. Karen, are you having dinner this year at your place? Are you going somewhere?
I'm actually been invited to my sister's for dinner, so that's nice. I just have to bring the pies.
Oh, nice. Oh, that'll be good. And then Harry, of course, we're going to Jim and Jen's for Thanksgiving, and I'll be bringing a dessert too. It's so nice not to have to cook the whole meal, but you certainly could. So there's something here for everybody. Let me know what you think.
Okay.
And what you're going to try. And we're going to start out. I have my oven preheating at 425. And when I do, we're going to break this down into two types of appetizers. There's going to be the baked kind, and then there's going to be the cold room temperature. And that's the way I organize things. So if I was doing this, I would do the cold appetizers first, and then depending on if you're serving the baked items at a warm temperature, you do those secondary so they'd stay warm. But tonight I'm reversing that, because it takes up oven time. So we're going to start out. You're going to really like this. Do you like wine? Do you like cheese? Well, we're doing wine and cheese puffs. And that's why my oven is at 425, and they cook fairly evenly. And I'm using a mini muffin pan over here, so they're going to be little bite size. And I have an extra pan in case there's extras. And it's very easy to do. I've whipped up one egg at room temperature whenever you're baking. Keep your ingredients. These are all room temperature, and the eggs will whip better, and they're nice and light and fluffy. And to that, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of melted butter inside, and you can certainly double this recipe. It would be awesome. But you'll be surprised how much this makes. And the milk here is 1/3 cup of milk. We'll blend that together. And then I have a cup of, this here is on the flour, 1/3 cup of flour. And I have 1/3 cup of shredded Swiss cheese. And I like to add this to the flour because it won't all melt and get stringy. So that's a great tip. Kind of toss it in the flour first before you add it to your liquid ingredients. So I'm adding that into the egg mixture, egg and milk. So it's kind of like a quiche, but not. A little bit different than a quiche. And then this is some dry white wine. This is 1/4 cup of dry white wine. Again, room temperature. A little bit of salt, because anytime you have egg, you want to season it really well. So we're going to blend this. And it almost looks like a pancake batter, but it's a savory one. And then some chopped green onions add a lovely flavor to this, and for color too. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to bring over my mini muffin pan, and I've sprayed it with a non-stick spray. And a little hint, because I want you to be safe when you do these, is I always take my when I'm going to spray nonstick, do it in your sink. Because if you do it on the counter or by a floor or whatever, and you walk over it, you could slip and fall. So you have to be very careful. It's very slippery. So stay safe and do it over your kitchen sink. And these you could certainly do ahead of time. They don't need to be served warm, but I would let them set out at room temperature before you serve them so they're easier to handle for your guests. And I'm filling these probably halfway full. And they don't take too long to bake. Actually, I think this is just going to be enough. These are great on your at your bar if you're serving drinks. It's just a great accompaniment to your drinks. Your guests are going to really want the recipe for this as well. So I'm going to pop these into the oven. I'm just going to wipe off a little bit on there. Nothing too drastic. And the oven is all preheated. Pop these in, and I do this on the bottom rack. And let's set the timer, excuse my back, for 20 minutes. Oops. I always do that, 20 minutes. There we go. And those should be done fairly quickly. So again, you can do that ahead of time. And then, wait until you see this. We have a really good variety of different flavors and everything. Okay. And we're going to do, have you ever had roasted olives? Karen, have you ever had roasted olives?
No, but it's something I know I would like.
This is a good one. Now we have here a collection of a good variety of whatever color olives that you like. I have, make sure they're pitted though. Kalamata olives, green olives. You could do the jars that have all different flavors. And it's very important to dry your olives really well. And I've put a little bit of olive oil in there. And then I'm going to do a seasoning mix. And this is half a teaspoon each. Right here we have rosemary, some thyme, some coriander, a little bit of red pepper flakes. So we're going to toss about half a teaspoon of each. Put that in. Now we're not putting salt in here. You know why? Because there's salt in olives are very salty. So we're going to do that, just enough to flavor them. I think that's about right. And rosemary has such an affinity for olives. It's just really good. Lemon zest brings out the flavor, the saltiness of the olives. So probably a good teaspoon or so. And you know, this is a great recipe to do ahead of time. And again, serve them at room temperature because you're going to love these. These are great to snack on. And I'd say that's about a teaspoon. Doesn't have to be exact. And then let's do some, I'm going to do a little bit of garlic. I'm going to cut this in half and use my garlic press, fresh garlic. And don't forget, if you're looking for some great tools, don't forget to email me and I can send you or order them for you. And I'd say a good, generous size garlic clove. And you can do more or less if you like garlic, but this is going to be great. And don't forget, I have the olive oil in there already, about a tablespoon, a scant tablespoon of olive oil inside. That, and we're going to do that. And the reason you want to pat these dry is so that they're going to roast. These olives are actually going to roast. And I have, you know, me and my herb garden, some wonderful lemon thyme, which will really enhance the flavor. And you can put them in whole like that and just, the leaves will fall off and We're going to eat this with a toothpick, so you can just pull those out when you're done. We're going to spread these on a baking stone. And I forgot to mention I had some of these colorful red peppers, so I put those in as well because those are going to roast in the oven. And again, double this recipe and make a bunch because it is wonderful to snack on. A little crusty bread. Really, really good. So we're going to wait because these are going to roast at 400. So when our wine and cheese puffs are done, we're going to add these into the oven at 400. So I'm going to put those over here. And we're going to gather a few things out here. I'm going to clean up and we'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. We have our Parmesan and wine puffs baking in the oven. And after a few minutes, what I did is I took some shaved Parmesan cheese and sprinkled it over the top of the cheese puffs so they get nice and crispy and golden. It looks really nice, a nice finish to it as well. Then what I've done ahead of time are these little, again, easy appetizers. And all this is sliced bread that I've cut with a little cookie cutter in a star shape, top and bottom. And I made an herb olive oil, equal parts olive oil and a little melted butter and some Italian seasoning. And I brushed the top of the breads and the bottom of the breads. And in between, I have some roasted Italian chicken sausage. This is a great little appetizer, and I'm going to put those in the oven at 350 a little bit later and put toothpicks in the top of those and serve them as just nice little appetizer bites. You could also do, instead of the bread, you could do a puff pastry or crescent rolls cut out in a star shape or whatever shape that you'd like. So by doing a lot of these ahead of time, this is something easy to do. And I'm going to put these on top of the stove, and those are going to go in the oven, along with what we're doing now, which are little cheese pots. And we're doing, this time of year, we have all kinds of, maybe you're doing a cheese platter. And we're using this cheddar or goat cheese and this blue cheese in 2 other recipes this evening. And I had some wonderful brie cheese, which is always good to have on hand. Do you cook with that a lot too around this time of year, Karen? It's very buttery, very soft, and these all translate really well to different toppings. So with all these cheeses that I have left over, I had purchased, I'm making little cheese pots. Great way to use these ingredients. And here I have some roasted garlic and onion jam and some apple cider jam. How fun. I love all these different toppings this time of year. So I spray with nonstick spray these little oven-safe ramekins, and I put a little bit of this apple cider jelly on the top. And what we're doing is making a little cheese tray with all these different flavors. So you just put a small amount, and you can smell the apple cider and a little bit of cloves. And then we're going to take the roasted garlic and onion jam and put that over the top, because blue cheese can handle all of these flavors because it's very strong. And if you're not particularly fond of a stronger cheese, you can always have the cheese blend with a little bit of cream cheese, and it'll kind of cut down the heavy flavor of the cheese. Same thing with the goat cheese, which reminds me of a salty feta cheese as well. So on that one, and I had all these on hand, I thought fig jam would be very good on this because it's salty, and you can do different blends. I have a raspberry habanero in there that I was thinking of using, but you could even do a cheddar cheese with some of these. And we'll put a little on there. You know, there's no measurements here. And look at this one. This is a mango pepper jelly. So I'm going to do that with the Gruyere.
I like the Gruyere cheese.
Yeah, it can handle a little bit of sweetness because it's so creamy. And not a lot, but this is going to all bubble up on the top. So these, I'm going to start off in the microwave. And then we're going to finish them off in the oven because they don't need to really cook. All you're doing basically is warming the jellies on top and melting the cheeses together. So we're going to do that. And let's do 4 minutes, power level 7, and see how that goes. So we've got all of those done. I'm going to put those over here. And then we have some wonderful different nuts that we're going to put on the top when those cheese pots come out of the oven. We have pistachios, walnuts, and a little bit of the slivered almonds. So that looks pretty good. Then let's see, what would you like to do next? Oh, these are fun. Wait until you see these. These are so fun. I did a few ahead of time. Sometimes the simplest ingredients translate to elegance, and this is a good example. These are grapes on the bottom, a half a grape, some blue cheese, and then a half a walnut on the top. So I'm going to show you how I made these. Very easy to do. Very, very easy to do. And I'm going to get a little cutting board. And again, you can do these ahead of time. There's no baking involved. And we're going to take our grapes. And you can certainly do red and green grapes, or all green or all red, but look at how beautiful. These look so nice in the store. I said, I'm going to try to do some of these. So you just cut the grapes in half.
So do you do the seedless grapes?
Good question. Yes, seedless. You don't want your guests to be picking out seeds from these. Good question, Karen. Oh, another question.
Can I also use crushed walnuts instead of just half of a walnut?
Good idea. Yeah, you just put them like this. I'll show you how we do that. Well, you're really thinking. You got to try these. They're really good. And I put a little cream cheese in here just to have a little more body. So you see, you put a scoop on there, and then you just take a walnut and press it together. How easy is that? Now, if you didn't want to do this, you just put the cheese on there and do it upside down on the crushed walnuts like this, or sprinkle them on the top, and you're good to go. This is so festive, and people will say, oh, why didn't I think of that? Because they're so easy to do. And I think they're kind of elegant. Any kind of soft cheese would be good, but I really like the blue cheese and the walnuts and the grapes. It's just a great combination. Hits all the good notes for flavor. And you know, if you have guests that are always in the kitchen saying, what are you doing? This is something they could do for you. You know, it's easy, it's fun, and they'll be wanting to know how to make these. It doesn't matter how much or how little you put in. It's just whatever goes on top. Make a huge platter, a smaller one. Not everybody likes blue cheese either, and a very good point is make sure you label some of these as well, because you don't want somebody taking a bite and saying, oh, I don't like blue cheese. And it's just a courtesy to your guests. Make sure that you do label all your little goodies. So we're going to set that out. Let's do one more. It's fun to do. Have you ever had these, Karen?
No, I can't say that I have. Not with the grapes.
So if you brought these, I mean, it'd be something really different, because I'm sure your company hasn't had them either. So it's kind of nice to bring something different. I keep saying one more, but let's do this.
Maybe I could do the pineapple spread with that too.
Ooh,
like
that'd be
or
good.
Celery.
Yeah.
Stick that on the grape.
That is a good, see, I like the way you think. You're always thinking of different things. Yeah, because not everybody would like maybe the blue cheese, so that's a great idea. The ones that come in the little jar, right? So that's good. Let's take these cheese pots, look good. So we're gonna leave those there. I'm gonna check on our cheese puffs and we'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. Look at our wine and cheese puffs. They took 15 minutes in the oven. And it makes a difference when you have everything at room temperature. So I'm going to hand these off to my kitchen buddy here, Karen. And she's got a little spoon. Karen, you want to show us how we're going to take these out?
Let it cool
Yeah, I think they should be. Oh, yeah, those would be good. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to put them on a pretty platter and get those going. And these are bite-sized. Don't they look good? You can try one, too, and let me know what you think, Karen, okay?
Oh, boy.
No pressure. What do you think?
They're yummy.
Can you taste the wine? It's white wine.
I'll let you know if I get tipsy.
Okay. So what we're going to do is make skewers. And these are fun. And you can do any combination, but we're doing Mediterranean skewers. And these here are stuffed. They're called Pepperdews, and they come in mild and spicy, very hot. So make sure you read, they come in a jar, and you drain them off and stuff it with some feta cheese. And I put them, actually you want to do it this way. Always remember the point side of the skewer down. You want to leave a space at the top, and I'll show you why in a minute. And then we're going to do a red onion, a piece of red onion, just sliced. And then a black olive, again pitted. And you can do a caprese one with a little bit of bread and the mozzarella cheese and so forth. And then different colored tomatoes. And I put them cut side down like that. And then lastly, a slice of cucumber. And what makes these really fun, wait until you see this. I have a cucumber here. So I'm putting these, poking them down in the cucumber. Wait until you see this. This is my new favorite little gadget. These are called Pipettes. And you can buy them on Amazon. And what you do is you take them and put them right upside down on the top. So people can help themselves with the pipettes, and you can do all different things with these. You're going to be the talk of the tree when you do this because it is so unique and something different. And you can order them, like I said, on Amazon. And we're going to take the reason why I do the onion in front. See how this here is very secure, the onion. And sometimes these red Pepperdews tend to slide. So if you have that there, it kind of anchors it. And a little black olive. Let's do a red cherry tomato. I have red, yellow, and orange cherry tomatoes. And then a little cucumber on the bottom. Stick them in the cucumber. And you don't have to, you can put these in a large thing, but I think they kind of look pretty neat standing up like that. Okay, oops. I use these too when I do a dessert skewer, and you put chocolate sauce in there. It's really fun to do. So I'm going to put that there. And then, Harry, you can start on yours too if you'd like. Always remember to do the point side down. Now maybe we can get a shot of what Harry's doing. Over here, Harry, you're making yours because you can't eat these, right?
That's correct.
So what's on your menu?
Well, I've got 2 different types of tomatoes.
Okay.
2 different colors.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to make this spectacular. I'm following your rules.
Oh,
It's looking good.
it is looking good.
Very good. And we'll stick one of these on.
And what are those,
That
mozzarella?
end, and then this goes on the other end.
Okay.
And we have a perfect, voila.
Skewer.
That
Perfect.
looks...
Isn't that nice?
Oh!
Look at the color.
And then what have you got in your pipette? Your little pipette?
This,
Yeah.
I put them on the end.
Yep. And what
Yeah.
is in the little pipette here?
Oh, these?
What's in there?
I have no idea.
Italian dressing, because you like Italian dressing,
nice.
right?
I didn't see these.
Yep,
So I'll just sprinkle a little of that on.
Yeah, you can
Yep.
squeeze it, I think. Just
yep, squeeze it on the top.
Very nice.
And
Very nice.
you can take them off the skewer
Yeah.
if you want to take little bites.
Thank you.
Let me show you how we do this.
Okay.
You can take and put them in here like so. And oh, you really stacked those good. How
I
cute
did.
is that?
Oh, that's perfect.
And you can serve them that way too.
Thank you very much.
I got to get you guys napkins.
Very nice. Excellent.
So you did that. That'll be good. You'll be
I'm gonna
making
do
those for
another.
Christmas.
Okay.
You gonna do another one? A little tip when you're doing these, leave a little space at the top
Okay.
so that your guests can lift those out and put them on the skewers. And I'll tell you how, your job as a hostess too is to make everything easy for your guests. And they're gonna look at these and say, what the heck is that, right? So you want to take and show them how to do this, and also pulling them out of here that keeps them upright. You want to put a little sample one. See how I pull them off? These are little Syrian bread skewers. And do this and slice all these ahead of time and set a sample out like so, so your guests will know how to do them for themselves. So Karen, you could do these. Wouldn't they love something like this?
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, it's fun to do too. So try these Caprese Skewers, and we're going to keep going, and I have these all set up, and you can do these ahead of time if you'd like, or bring somebody into the kitchen that wants to visit while you're serving your guests. But a lot of these you can do ahead of time, and that's what's really important, is that you are able to spend time with your guests as well. So a lot of these you can do ahead of time. So we're going to put these aside and come up with our last recipe that we're making. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. Look at our roasted olives. Aren't these beautiful? I wish you could smell these. They smell so good. And see these little lemon thyme sprigs that I have here? You just put those aside, or it doesn't hurt anyway. I heard over there. We're starting without me. So we're just going to scoop these over here, and we're going to serve these with toothpicks. I have a whole container here of toothpicks so people can help themselves. And everybody's going to want the recipe for these. These are salty, they're garlicky, all the fresh herbs, a little bit of the olive oil, the rosemary. It just smells so festive. And whoever thought of roasting olives? And again, you do these ahead and set them out at room temperature. They don't have to be warm. And they take like 10 minutes in the oven. And get out your best serving dishes. And those are good to go. And those are our oven roasted mixed olives. How fun is that? I'm going to move this away, and we're going to start on our final dish.
I have a question.
Oh yes, Karen, good timing.
Hi, when you were talking earlier about these, the veggies on the stick,
Right.
what do you call those, ramekins?
Yes.
No, what do you call those?
The skewers? Oh, pipettes?
Yes. Now, how do you get that inside of there?
Good question. They're like eyedroppers, really. So you just make sure that the liquid is thin enough that it'll go inside. It was a little trickier when I did the Italian dressing because it has chunks of herbs in it. So next time I would just strain that through. And then you just put the end of it into the liquid, this little, it's very sharp, it's not super sharp, but it's pointed, so you can just submerge it inside, squeeze the tube first, like so, and then hold it, and then it sucks up the liquid. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So it's easy to do, and it's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
You could do a brie cheese on a skewer and put honey in the pipette and have everybody drizzle their own honey over certain items as well. It's so fun to do, and it's different. So try those.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is going to be interesting. We've got one of everything here. This is going to be our final. We have beautiful pears, and I like the Bartlett pears. I think they're very consistent, very dependable. Just make sure you buy them ahead of time, like 3 days ahead of when you're going to use them, so they'll be nice and ripe. And see this little label? I never pull that off till the last minute, because if you pull the skin off, it's not going to stay fresh. So I've washed these ahead of time. And let's start. I'll show you how we're going to do this. We're going to cut the ends off both sides of the pear. And of course, you want to use your prettiest platters this time of year. And I have some prosciutto, Italian prosciutto. And I've done these ahead of time. And you don't need a lot. And so what we have here is the pear. And I'm going to slice it into rounds, about 1/2 inch thick. And put them all together like so. And don't get nervous because there's seeds in the middle. What I'm going to do is stack them back up and take a cora and cut out the centers, making sure, yep, we got all the pieces out. These are nice and ripe too. So we have a center here. That one doesn't need it. This one's good. And then we're going to do this. So you can see what we're doing. You just want to make sure that you have the seeds removed. And I'm going to do this anyway because I'm doing little rosettes in the middle. So you want a hole in the center anyway. Save all those goodies. And then let's do a few more. And you can see a little goes a long way with these. You can do, depending on how many you're having, of course, for people. Every time I try and do one all at once, I always miss the center core. We're doing about 1/2 inch thick, a nice sized bite. So you get about 5 slices out of each pear, which is going to serve as the base. Even though there's no seeds in there, we want to cut out a hole because you'll see in a minute what we're doing. And I save those. Pears and prosciutto, just a wonderful combination. Okay, now we have these beautiful little rosettes that we're going to fold in the bottom, and I'll show you how I did those, and stick them in the top like so. Now, the way you do these is you just take, and it's very thin and very delicate, and there's no special way to do this. The rougher the better. You know, you don't want anything that's perfect. And you fold them under, tuck them in the hole. And we're not done yet. We're going to put those in. Excuse me a minute. I'm going to check on our little... What I did in the oven is I put the little sausages in here. And our little cheese pots. So let's do timer. Let's do 4 more minutes. I think about 4 minutes. You'd rather underdo them and check on them than overdo them. So let's do another little rosette. You just take them and roll them in no rose or floral. You want them to look like little flowers. Put them under like that and kind of poke them in the hole. And that's why we did the hole with these. And we're going to dress them up on the platter. And I did a whole bunch of these. You could do these ahead of time. Fold them so that they kind of pop in there. They look pretty fancy. And that's what the holidays are all about. Fold them in and tuck them inside like that. Boy, the children would love doing these. I mean, they really would. It's fun to do, it's easy, and they feel so good about cooking in the kitchen. You know me, I love to have the kids in the kitchen cooking with me. Fold it over, poke it down on the top. How pretty. And these pears are perfect. On the top. We can get a few more. We're going to have just enough. There's some left over for the cook. And then, and you can do as many or as little as you can. These I do at the last minute because you don't want the pears to brown or anything. And this is a wildflower honey. And we're just going to drizzle it over the top. Like so, just to bring out the saltiness of that prosciutto. And then a little bit of chèvre or goat cheese sprinkled over the top. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just get it on there. And for those, if you know people don't care for the goat cheese, which a lot of people, some people just don't, you can do it on the side, but I like to do these. So again, as a courtesy to your guests, so they know how to eat these. A little goat cheese. Okay. And then I like to put a few, this is from my garden, these are fresh herbs, some more thyme, a little bit of lemon thyme, a little greenery, around all edible herbs. Just looks very festive, I think. Oops, that's the water bottle. And then on the top we have chopped macadamias. And because we put the honey on there, all of these are going to stick onto the honey and they make a wonderful presentation. These are little bites, and I'm going to serve to help your guests serve themselves because they're a little sticky and you don't want anybody reaching in with their hands. I have a little spatula like so they can just serve themselves. Those are our pear and prosciutto with honey, goat cheese, and macadamias. That is, what do you think of that, Karen?
I think it's beautiful.
Look at the presentation, how pretty that is. It looks like you really took the time to make something special for everybody. You have to try those. Those are going to be fabulous. Now, let me see what's going on in the oven. So how many appetizers? Count them, Harry. How many did we do?
I believe 7.
7. Including yours?
Mine.
Oh my gosh. So these are our little sausage bites with the star-shaped breads. These are, I'm going to have to put these over here. They're off. I always forget how that works. And then I'm going to take some of these toothpicks and we're going to put them in here for serving.
Okay, now what's in there?
They're chicken sausage that I roasted in the oven and cut into little, probably 1-inch chunks.
Mm-hmm.
And we've put those on. And these come right out like so. See, they're toasted on the bottom because I put some of that olive oil and butter herb mix, which is just Italian seasoning. These are fun. You could do a whole platter of those. Those are great. Your guests are going to love those. We have that. And then I'm going to plate everything when we come back. Did you have any questions on any of these? Harry, what do you think? You have a question, Harry?
No, I want to add one more dish. Total of 8.
8?
Because I didn't add that last one.
Oh, including yours. That's pretty good,
Mine,
huh?
Yeah,
Boy, we're
that's
gonna...
a lot.
It is a lot. But is there anything here that you would have a problem doing, Karen?
No, it looks very simple and quick. And like you said, you can also do some prep ahead of time if you want.
Absolutely.
And it just has a beautiful look about it. Great for the holidays or for any occasion.
A little something for everybody. And we're going to put all of this together. And when we come back, we're going to review everything. So we'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to our apps. And you're going to want to try these latest apps. Look at this. We did all of this. You can do this with a little planning ahead of time. Totally doable. And like I said, pick a hot dish, a cold dish, and something you can make ahead. 3 appetizers for your company. Don't forget to label everything so people know what they are. So let's start out here. And we're going to start out with our beautiful wine and cheese puffs. Bite size, wonderful flavors, a little cheese, wine, egg, flour. These are all the things you can do. Very, very nice appetizer any time of the year. These are just so beautiful. That would be great for Easter, any time of the year. You can also substitute apples. A nice sweet apple like a gala would be wonderful. And instead of the goat cheese, you could do blue cheese and a little bit of walnuts on the top instead of the macadamias. But this gives you a really good starting point. Beautiful, easy to do, and your guests will love them. Look at our cheese pots. Now what I did is I put walnuts on top of the blue cheese. We have pistachios on top of the chev and almonds on top of the brie cheese, just to give it a little crunch and texture when we're serving those with a great variety of crackers. And people are going to love these. We're going to move over here to our little skewers, our Mediterranean skewers. Feta stuffed Pepperdews. You find those in the jar. Make sure they're mild, or if you like the hot ones, make sure you select whichever that you like. The hot ones are very hot. And they're with red onion skewers, black olives, half a cherry tomato, and a cucumber. And of course, our wonderful pipettes, and that's a balsamic glaze that's inside of those little pipettes. But use whatever you have. You can do any kind of dressing as long as it'll go into those little pipettes. And you can do all these little pipettes ahead of time like I did and just assemble them right beforehand. We're serving them with pita bread, little baby pita breads that we've split. Don't forget to put a sample out so people will know how to serve them. I think this is a great idea with the pita bread, because if you've ever been at a party and you're all dressed up and you're trying to eat these, they can be awkward. So by being able to slip all those veggies right off into pita bread, put the balsamic glaze on top, makes it neat, makes it easy, and nobody's stressed out. Be kind to your guests. That's a good one. Beautiful. Bring out all your nicest platters and plates for the holidays. Again, simple. Do red or green grapes halved with a little blue cheese, or you could do goat cheese. You could even do brie. And then walnuts, or as Karen suggested, some chopped walnuts. You can just roll them or sprinkle them on the top. We made Harry a little platter because he can't have a lot of these garlic and herbs, with just plain tomatoes and mozzarella, a little cheese ball, some grapes, fruit. That's a good one. Then on to our little, they're really just basically Italian chicken sausage. We've roasted ahead and sliced. And on either side, we made like a little mini sandwich with bread cubes, or you could do puff pastry. And I'm serving that for dippers with some barbecue sauce or some ketchup, however you'd like. And then finally, look at our beautiful roasted olives. And I would put a few toothpicks so people will know that you can even put a spoon in here. But look at how easy those are to serve with the rosemary and thyme, that lemon thyme, and a little bit of shaved lemon and garlic. Those are great. And that would be fun to have on an antipasto tray as well. So I hope you try these recipes. Thank you to everybody who writes in with your comments. It's just so fun to hear from you. Thank you to my kitchen helpers tonight, Karen, Harry. We're going to eat good tonight. So thank you to you all. I hope you have a happy and safe holiday. Thank you for watching, and may the fork be with you.